If you've been following the Star Wars community, this has been a perennial problem of alleged clickbait. And one of the persons who's often accused of this is Mike Zeroh, who's notorious for often uploading content that is almost identical or similar in nature. Now, I can't say too much about that because I think, like most YouTubers, sometimes you have to do that. You don't have enough time. You have to try to do the best you can with the resources you have. But Mike Zeroh is sort of a kind of notorious for abusing that kind of thin line between putting out old and new content or reworking content. But now we have something new to the mix where a Black Jedi has recently accused him of stealing his content and recycling it for his channel. And we're going to hear Knights of Melvin basically showing that this is a complete lie. Now, I want to be clear. I'm not really on Knights of Melvin's side or even on the side of Mike Zeroh, but I do agree with Knights of Melvin that if you're going to quote criticize or attack a YouTuber, you want to do so with some credibility. You just don't want to throw a baseless charge out there just to get views. That's very, very poor taste, and that can, backfire very badly. And I think he does show very well that a Black Jedi is just throwing out this accusation for getting clicks, frankly, and there's nothing to it.
It's noted that this was going to be a show featuring Brie Larson's Maeve character from the Acolyte series to get her own TV show.
You can see the arrogance of this guy. He does the exact same thing, reporting bullshit rumors. Yet, Mike Zeroh's rumors are ridiculous, and his rumors, they're legit. Him and Doomcock will cry to you, oh, it's just a rumor, but they freak out if you question the validity of the rumor, because it's not about reporting rumors, it's about being right. That's the trick. No one watches Doomcock because they think he's wrong.
It's just kind of funny to me that this guy, he takes my video and then just tries to make it fit his own narrative of what he says on his channel. I don't know.
Remember I said that his fake email source said nothing about Mara Jade. Mara Jade was ACJ mental gymnastics, and now a clickbait Jedi is getting offended by Mike Zeroh's fake source that contradicts his mental gymnastics.
Where initially it was thought that Brie Larson was going to be a part of a show connected to the Mandalorian series. However, this is absolutely not the case, and that the only show that Brie Larson was fired from was the Maeve solo Star Wars TV series that was going to be...
Yeah, so he's basically that video that talks about Brie Larson being fired from the Mandalorian or showing up as Mara Jade in anything that Jon Favreau is doing? That's not true, sucker. That's a lie. So, I guess he's just saying my video is totally untrue, and the video that he just happened to get a scoop on right after he sees mine doing well, that fits his narrative, that his video is definitely the true one. Okay, Mike, I see how you do.
I checked out Mike Zeroh's fake news video, and I found something that is crucial to his defense.
I want to focus on Brie Larson. There's been a lot of things happening behind the scenes over at Lucasfilm involving Brie Larson, and what's happening with, of course, other TV shows that have been connected to the Acolyte TV series. Now, we discussed this lightly a couple of weeks ago, and it is now fully progressing and developing very well. We discussed this lightly a couple of weeks ago.
That's interesting. Mike Zeroh talked about this before. Yet a clickbait Jedi thinks Mike Zeroh saw a stupid video and decided to copy the idea of Brie Larson being fired and not only twist it, but insinuate ACJ is a liar. So I went back and found that video from a couple weeks ago, and wouldn't you know, Mike Zeroh's fake news about Brie Larson was released before a clickbait Jedi's fake news was released.
What basic issue here is that a Black Jedi allegedly has a scoop on Brie Larson being in Star Wars or destroying Star Wars or feminism destroying Star Wars, etc., etc., etc. And then his video does okay. It gets to 20,000 views. That's very impressive. But then Mike Zeroh puts out a video that is very similar, and he's like, oh, you're stealing my content, and you just switched superficially a few details. But as Knights of Melvin shows, he does Brie Larson videos for quite a while. He did a Brie Larson video weeks before you did your Brie Larson video. It's just a coincidence. Now, maybe Mike Zeroh stole your stuff. That's possible. It's perfectly possible that happened, but really what's much more likely is it's just a cycle. Just Mike Zeroh has a system. He just does a certain topic. Jon Favreau, Gina Carano Kathleen Kennedy, etc., etc. It cycles through, and it's just you got caught in between the cycle, and maybe you're right, maybe he did steal stuff, but more likely it's just a coincidence. You were doing something very similar to him, and you're doing the same thing. You're just doing clickbait, and for whatever reason you think him doing his clickbait is going to hurt your clickbait, and now you're angry, and you're like, okay. But basically, you do the same stuff, so it's unclear what the basis of the grievance is. I guess it's sort of like, it's okay when I do clickbait, when he does clickbait. I don't know, there's something terrible. And guys, the YouTube that hates me, the algorithm, they're not really helping me. I need my money, blah, 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 blah. From the outside looking in, basically, Mike Zeroh, good or bad, is very good at playing the algorithm. He's making a lot of money. Hey, maybe he does know something. Maybe his rumors have some foundation. I'm open-minded about it. And we should just proceed carefully. But yeah, just hating him to hate him and just giving a false accusation because, yeah, he's Mike Zeroh, we can lie about him. I get it. I mean, it is an issue of fighting fire with fire. Should we respect him at all? I don't know. That's a tough one. I mean, I'm sure most people, Mike Zeroh has no credibility. But still, we want to proceed carefully. I mean, it's like, again, with Mike Zeroh and others, yeah, they have proven that they're not very credible and we shouldn't respect most of their content. But nevertheless, we should pay attention to some boundaries. And so I agree with my Knights of Melvin that as much as we find Mike Zeroh questionable, we shouldn't just lie blatantly about him. That would be very problematic. But Knights of Melvin, whatever you think about him, does have his own agenda. And at least he's very clear. He doesn't like the clickbait stuff, not because he's against clickbait, but because it's kind of just distracting him from retconning the sequel trilogy and destroying Disney Star Wars. I don't agree with that agenda, but at least it is much more consistent and much more coherent than whatever the Black Jedi puts out, which is frankly very subpar content, at least in my opinion. This has been a video essay on the clickbait dilemma in the Star Wars community. Thanks for listening.